Welcome back. Let's take you to Parliament now, where alleged political fixer Brown Mogotsi is appearing before the ad hoc committee probing allegations of corruption in the SAPS. Newzroom Afrika's Zoleka Qodashe has been following those proceedings and joins us now live for an update. Zoleka, very good evening to you. So the Madlanka Commission has just wrapped up with General Sibiya, and just before that conclusion, the evidence leader was about to get into the relationship between Brown Mogotsi as well as General Sibiya. But now Brown Mogotsi is appearing on the other end, which is at the ad hoc committee. What have been the line of questioning from the members of Parliament that tries to tie that relationship between the two?
Well, I'll tell you what has been taking place, Katleho. It has been difficult for the evidence leaders as well as the members of Parliament to really knit together this information that has been provided by Brown Mogotsi. He speaks about being previously an informant of crime intelligence and then also now a contact agent, and also says that he has been investigating the top cop in KwaZulu-Natal, that is Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, as well as King Misizulu. And the reason why he says this is because he says that they are agents of the CIA, and says he undertook a trip to Kenya because of this particular allegation or suspicion that he had. He says he received this information and then took the trip to the east of Africa because he wanted to meet a person by the name of George in Kenya that would assist with this particular information. He also says that it was the late Minister Nathi Mthethwa who also believed that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was actually working or operated as an agent for the CIA. And so this has been particularly difficult for the ad hoc committee to really reconcile and understand the evidence or the testimony that has been given by Brown Mogotsi, because it was the questions by the evidence leader really asking to what end he had this particular mission, as well as the information that he received or an investigation that he received or that he was conducting in relation to Vusimuzi Cat Matlala. He says that he undertook this particular investigation, but also in the same breath, while he was investigating Vusimuzi Cat Matlala, also received large sums of money for the ANC's January 8 statement. Now, you remember that is testimony that the inquisitorial body previously heard from the Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi as well as Vusimuzi Cat Matlala. But he says that this did not interfere with his investigations into the provincial commissioner, or rather into Vusimuzi Cat Matlala. He also says, and seemingly corroborating the evidence that was given by Vusimuzi Cat Matlala when members of Parliament descended upon the Hoshi Mampuru Correctional Facility, where he says that essentially there was a meeting between Vusimuzi Cat Matlala as well as Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. He alleges that Cat Matlala, or Vusimuzi Cat Matlala, actually gave the provincial commissioner an amount of money, and says that he was aware that Nhlanhla, or rather Vusimuzi Cat Matlala, was going to be going to KZN in Durban, where he would be meeting with Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. He then says that he then traveled before Matlala to Durban and would have an Uber driver stationed at the airport that would be tracking and tracing Vusimuzi Cat Matlala, and that is where he then saw that particular interaction, and also saying that he later discovered that that was the property of Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And really the question for MPs, that MPs have been asking together with the evidence leader, is how all this information can be pieced together, how it can be probable or tenable that there would be an investigation into Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, but also into Vusimuzi Matlala, and how his trip to Kenya really ties into everything that he has also testified, particularly in relation to that testimony that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is a CIA agent together with the Zulu monarch. He also says that raising questions around why suspects in this particular matter or within KZN never get to have their day in court, but also doesn't say what that has to do with the battle for the throne of the Zulu kingdom, as well as the allegation that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi as well as the Zulu monarch are working for the CIA. But I understand that the proceedings are back in session. We expect that there are several other MPs that will be asking their questions, and for Brown Mogotsi to really answer and try to assist the committee in really gaining clarity in relation to some of his evidence or his testimony, which has already been called into question, with members such as Julius Malema, the EFF leader, saying that they will be, if it is in fact proved that he is not an agent of crime intelligence, will be laying perjury charges.
Zoleka, before we let you go, I mean, there was questioning from the DA's Kola Barnard, and this was in relation to Mogotsi speaking about those same interests that you make mention of Mkhwanazi and the Zulu monarch having the interests of the West at heart, and he spoke about the copious amounts of coal that is being sent out to Israel. When you look at some of those contradictions where Kola Barnard came in and said, well, it's only just a fraction of a percent of coal that actually is going out to Israel, what does that do to the credibility of Brown Mogotsi's statement?
You're absolutely correct, Katlego. He says that while that question was asked by the DA's Diane Carla Barnard, asking to what end this would be the case if, in fact, the coal that would be taken to Israel or exported to Israel is a fraction of what is actually exported to other nations. And he says that he actually is in possession of information that would demonstrate to the inquisitorial body that it is much more than what has been said by Diane Carla Barnard. But he is now facing questions by members of parliament as well. We expect that there are several MPs, I think about 8 MPs that still have to ask questions, so we expect that it will be further marathon proceedings that may actually spill over into tomorrow. But let's take you back into those proceedings where Brown Mogotsi is continuing with his testimony into those allegations of criminal infiltration and political interference.